Just a quick story. I was 20 years in the U.S. Air Force flying combat jets and got out of that in 2002, and I had never been to Buffalo before. So I came to Buffalo for the first time for a job and worked for a company near the airport for 10 years. And they went out of business during the recession. So I left that job in 2012, and I fuddled around and tried to find my place and tried to get another job, and I couldn't. And me and the wife, we looked at each other and we said, why don't we start a small business? So then we started the criteria of, we've never done this before. What should we do? And we wanted to get something that didn't have a lot of employees. We didn't know how to cook and make food. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a large inventory that we wanted to manage, different types of inventory. So, and we wanted a green business, something that was good to the environment. So we eventually found a franchise store called Rapid Refill, and we signed up for that. We went for training. Unfortunately, the franchise headquarters failed after a year and a half, but we became an independent business, still using their logos and their same core business principles, and we've been doing that now for 7.5 years. So
basically, once the company went under, you assumed ownership as an independent and retained the branding.
That's correct.
So, and honestly, it's a great location. It's you're accessible from both sides now, right? And I'm sure your rent's a little less too, right? It's a better plaza, more visible because you're not tucked in like a plaza with 90 businesses. There's a couple businesses here, and I took shots of the exterior for that specifically. So, and this plaza's been around since I was a kid. I've been here since the 60s, I think, right? Yeah. So it's well known, and this thoroughfare is good. I mean, you get a ton of traffic out here in Colden. So now the alliteration of the name and the brand, it's a great name. So good that you didn't change it over. Who knows what it would have been called, right? I mean, Yeah. And it already had brand familiarity with it too. It's not like it wasn't known. And I love names that are inherent in what they are, right? I mean, it's built in. It's a Rapid Refill, right?
So the business used to be a business where you would go to, this was 15 years ago, where you would get your ink and toner cartridges refilled.
Oh, I remember. Did you have machines? They were out
so
on the floor, right?
There were machines that they would refill ink and toner with and just give the customers back their same ink and toner cartridge. Unfortunately, the ability to do that now has changed with the advent of technology, and now there's a computer chip on every ink and toner cartridge, and this computer chip has to sync up with the printer or the ink or the laser printer, and it's a proprietary, copyrighted computer chip, and it has to be synced up just right. So this has gotten rid of the majority of people who used to refill ink and toner cartridges in their store. And now
you can't, right? I mean, they could change like one line of code and you can't use it.
That's right.
Right.
So there's 25,000 different makes and models of ink and toner cartridges. Each one of them has a unique computer chip attached to it, and there's no way that a small business like mine could keep track of all that and how they change. So our ink and toners are made by large manufacturers or remanufactured by large manufacturers who keep track of all that.
I see.
So one of the reasons I got into the business is that I myself as a consumer was so frustrated with the cost of the printer, ink, and toner when I went to the big name brand stores. I knew that the product I was buying cost a very small amount, but I was being charged an extraordinary amount for it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, anybody that does any type of real printing and wants to keep in control of it and do it at home, it's just mind-boggling how much money you can spend on ink.
Yes. And it doesn't need to be that expensive. So there's a niche there for a small business like mine to sell a remanufactured product or a compatible product at less cost that does the same thing as the original.
That was perfect. Yeah, we've been saying that for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
But that's perfect, and that's what you do, and that's the core of your business. And it's worth the drive from the South Towns out here to say, I mean, it's a lot of money you save by shopping here. So
A typical XL ink cartridge, a black and a color cartridge, can cost you as much as $75 to $100, okay? Almost as much as a printer.
Yep.
So a remanufactured or a compatible ink cartridge can cost half that amount, up to half that amount. So there's a real cost savings. It's worth the drive.
Yeah, the number one complaint was that I just spent $125 in the printer, and now you're charging me the same amount for the ink.
Right.
You know, for the XL HP inks, you know, they would be that much.
And we're going to talk about that later, about how getting the right printer is really important. Not to buy the cheapest printer at the store that you then have to go back and buy the ink and toner for that costs more than the printer. So we're going to talk about printers a little bit later, which is something else that we sell.
Awesome. Yeah, because I mean, that's part of this too, is educating the audience and figuring out, because that was part of my job too. And people were always surprised that I wouldn't sell them the wrong printer, you know, and a lot of times I mean, everybody goes for the lowest common denominator when they walk into a store. Nobody wants to spend money you don't have to, but they don't realize when you spend the money on a printer and you buy a cheaper printer, a lot of that is inefficient. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's paper waste or paper jams or excessive ink use or clogging, or you have to clean the cartridge or clean the heads all the time. The heads are out of alignment. It's really worth it to spend the extra money and get something that's more efficient. It's more well made. It's a little higher end because you'll save money on the back end, right? A lot of times.
There's no industry more true than that, of buying the right printer on the front end to save you money in the life cycle of that printer. Ink is a liquid product that goes into an inkjet printer. We sell all brands and all models. And then toner is actually a powder product that goes into laser printers, and it tends to have a larger quantity. You can do more copies with it. It might cost a little bit more per cartridge, but you'll get 3 or 4 times the amount of prints out of a toner cartridge than you will an inkjet cartridge.
Yeah, and the toners, and that's something to note, because a lot of people get freaked out by toners. I know when I was selling them, I've sold them for almost 3 years, and people just get freaked out on them. You know, they're like, I have them in my office, I don't know how to use it. And I was like, it couldn't be easier. You know?
Yes, I think it's actually easier to have a laser toner machine than it is an inkjet machine, because inkjets, if they're not used often enough, the print heads will clog, and then this leads to a lot of frustration. And is it the print cartridge or the ink cartridge that's causing the problem, or is it the printer? And so there are issues with inkjet printers. Laser printers, not nearly so much, because it's a dry powder product. You can go 3 years without printing anything on a particular printer, and then you go to print an item, and it will print out just as cleanly and crisp as the day that you bought it.
So I don't print much at home. I'm a teacher. I've got this color print job that they wouldn't let me do at school because it's black and white, or maybe it was just too much money. And I try to do it at home, and I haven't printed in 4 months. And now, you know, we're all busy, and we can all attest to this. Like, if you got to stop your day and stop what you're doing and go to a store to buy a cartridge that costs a ton of money that you didn't have in your budget, you're in a bad mood.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so I would tell people the same thing you just said. I'm just trying to back you up on this because it's true. You know, spend the extra money on the laser toner machine, because you can let that thing sit indefinitely, and when you go to it, you get a perfect print.
Yeah. So one of the rules so when people come in to buy printers and choose between an inkjet or a laser printer, the first thing to do is to ask someone like me and tell us what your requirements are for printing. So if your printing is to print less than 100 pages per month, and you need color and you want to do some occasional photos, then a multifunction inkjet printer is probably the printer for you. If you do black and white printing and you do 1,000 copies per month, and they're all in black and white, then a laser toner is absolutely your most economical choice. So whether you want to do scanning and copying, these put you into multifunction versus just printers, and we can help you make those right decisions. But here at Rapid Refill, we sell all makes and models of printer, ink, and toner. There are 25,000 different makes and models. We pretty much sell every single one of them. Here in the store, we carry the top 1,000 types of make and models, printers and toners, and we have 2 or 3 of each on the shelf to meet our immediate customers' needs. But we also have a warehouse within 2 miles of here that carries almost everything else in large quantity that we can go and get within 30 minutes or so.
Wow, so that plays into your same-day delivery, too.
So
they can place it, and then you can go to your warehouse and get it. And, so many people have obscure printers.
Yes.
And so you'll generally have,
Yes.
not everything, but close to everything.
Right.
Right?
So we actually specialize in the older models of printers, even the ones that are 20 years old.
Oh, you do?
Because those models have been out for so long that there's lots of research that has been done into producing a reliable model, and it's available and you can purchase it readily, and we have it on the shelf. It's the stuff that has just come out that we have problems getting hold of. And that's because you have to give time for there to be enough empties on the market for the research and development to produce compatible cartridges.
I see. I didn't know that. Actually, that's something I didn't know. So the time is pretty important that the machine's been on the market. It allows the second and third party manufacturers to kind of catch up,
right,
and then bring that to maturity.
Right.
Their independent technology. Right.
Right. So for that reason, we may not have the compatible or remanufactured cartridge available for you on our shelf, but we also sell the original OEM, which stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. We do sell genuine OEM, HP, Brother, Canon, Epson, and we have those on our shelf to meet our customer needs. We do sell them, purposefully less than the big name office stores, at least a couple dollars less, to get customers to come into us. Mm-hmm. And then when the compatible or the remanufactured item becomes available 6 months later, then we carry that as well.
Nice. And that's your forte, right? That's your niche.
That's our niche,
I mean,
right.
You will have, like I see the HP 910 XLs behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You have that stuff, but you don't come here for that. This is about coming here to save money, to get an equivalently good product, and that's it.
Right.
And a good service. And the awesome thing about you is that this is your business and you know it sideways, backwards, forwards. And that's important when you're dealing with this because people just don't understand this technology.
So when you go to a big name brand store, you're not going to have an expert help you to find the printer that you need or to find the printer, ink, or toner that you need and then give you the options of, hey, this is what the original OEM price is for that. This is what the remanufactured price is for it. This is what the compatible price is for it. And these are the different qualities that go with each one of those. Yeah, so a couple things there. But printing started to go away because the cost of printing was getting out of hand. Mm-hmm. And but printing should be an economical thing to do for both the residential consumer and for small businesses and for government. You're talking about paper, which is a recyclable and regenerative environmental source. And then the printer inks and the toners can also be remanufactured and recycled as well. So this should be an economical thing to do to print at home, to print in your small business, and to print in government. And if you do it smart, and if you come to someone like us, then we can save you a ton of money.
Boom.
Perfect. Right. Hey, one more thing. Everything that we sell is 100% customer satisfaction guaranteed. So if it doesn't work, or if there are quality issues, or if you don't get the number of prints out of it that you should, just bring it to us. We'll either give you a free replacement, or we'll give you a full refund, and we'll work with you on that. So,
and that's small business, and that is invaluable to people,
right?
Because that's trust.
I know if I can't tell you how many customers, repeat customers that we have that come to us, and they're not technically proficient. They need some help. They need someone who treats them with respect and courtesy and figures out what their problem is and then takes the time to explain it to them about what's going on with their printer and their technology comprehensively. And if you do that, people can really appreciate it. That's something that we pride ourselves in. It's the difference between us and the big name brand stores where we can do that. So if you buy our products and you buy our printers, then you can call us at any time for technical advice. For deliveries, let's talk about that really quick. We do free same-day delivery here in West Buffalo, the Buffalo area, as far as East Aurora, as far north as Niagara Falls. And we do drop ship deliveries, next day drop ship to anywhere in Western New York.
Wow.
So, right.
You'll get your ink.
We have our delivery. If it's urgent, your business is shut down, you have to get those taxes or those important papers out, call us. You can either walk into the store and get what you need, or we can get it to you same day. We do offer, and we push it pretty heavily, is a remanufactured in USA version, okay? So this means American jobs, and the remanufactured versions of these inkjets and toners that we sell, these are actually the higher quality ones than we find that are remanufactured from outside of the country and sold in the United States. The remanufactured ones in the USA have more quality control. They're handled better. It's not a mass production kind of a thing. Each and every one of them goes through an inspection process, a quality assurance process. They're refilled, refurbished, and then tested before they're sent to us. So that's not always the case with a foreign remanufactured
I was
one.
just going to say that. And then on top of that, do you think some of these domestic remanufacturers are actually better than the OEMs, period?
They're not better than the OEM ones. Sometimes they actually have a little more ink and toner in them than the originals because they don't want to underfill them and disappoint the customer. So as a minimum, they'll fill these toners and inks up to the specification, and they might even overfill them up to 10%. But the remanufactured ones in the United States are actually guaranteed to have OEM quality associated with them. That means the same vivid colors, the same black, and the same number of quality pages, associated with them. So think about that. They cost a few dollars more than the foreign-made compatibles, but it is a product that we sell heavily here, is remanufactured in USA. So we got into secure document shredding shortly after we got into the business because people who came to us with their printer, ink, and toner needs were generating a lot of paper, and sometimes these customers were generating confidential papers, medical records, financial papers, and they wanted a secure way of disposing of these. They themselves could not dispose of the quantity that they were generating. And then when the bins got full, we would take them to a secure location where they can be a certified shredder, which is very important. It's not just a simple shredding of a straight line, 1/16 inch wide kind of thing. These shreds are done cut and then cross-cut fine to fully meet federal and state document shredding certifications, so that they can't be put back together to steal your identity or to get confidential information of at a later time. And then the shredded material, which is a very fine type of thing after that, it's actually recycled to make new paper products at paper companies after that. So it doesn't go into the garbage, it doesn't go into a landfill. It's securely shredded and then recycled. So there was another customer category, which was the small business, the lawyers, the attorneys, the CPAs, even people who worked from home who had generated quite a bit of confidential information, and they wanted us to bring over a large mobile secure document shredding bin that they could put up to 200 pounds of confidential documents at a time. And they wanted us to drop this off and pick it up and then replace it when they needed it. So that's what we did. We came up with a secure document shredding mobile bin, and these bins can be moved around quite easily, have two wheels on them, and they balance quite well. And we can move these 250-pound bins around at will. We can pick them up in our vehicle when they're full and then drop off an empty one.
So is that what we're looking at here?
That's what you're looking at here. So a residential consumer, they can bring in a small amount of paper, maybe 40 pounds, and they just, put it here inside of the bin. It falls into the bin is locked. Or for a large, people who have a large amount of papers, we can actually take the padlock off, the top rolls open, and then they can put boxes of material in here all at once. Seal it back up again, and then we replace it with an empty bin until that one gets full. And then we come up, pick it up, and we deliver it for free here in the local Buffalo area. So, and the last thing I would offer is that we have a digital scale here at the store. So we know that we weigh these bins before they go out. We weigh them again when they come back so that we know only how much paper is inside. And then we charge 59 cents a pound. Which is a very fair price. If you go to the big name box stores where you have to take it in, they're charging over $1 a pound. So we're only at 59 cents a pound, and
yeah, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
bad at all.
That's totally good. Mm-hmm. And so now, you have a truck? Did you say that does this, or
right? So. At regular intervals, we have a truck that comes in with a heavy-duty hydraulic lift gate, and they'll pick up all of these and drop us off new empty bins, and then they take it to their secure facility where they have a high horsepower cross-cutting shredding machine, and everything is cross-cut and shredded and then recycled from that location. We even shred plastics, credit cards, x-rays, metal binding, spiral binding, paper clips, staples,
CDs,
and all those
DVDs,
things.
all that.
CDs, DVDs, all those things can go in here, and they can all be shredded up by the shredding machine.
Yeah, it's super important, actually. And that
not
stuff
just paper.
nowadays is more prevalent.
Paper is a low margin, low profit thing, and one of the big reasons we sell paper is not that we make a lot of money off of paper, but we end up being a one-stop store where people can buy both their ink and their toner and the other consumable being the paper that goes in the printer. And we know that paper has to be cost affordable in order to bring people in. So we sell a ream of paper, which is 500 pages, letter size, for $4.99 per ream. Okay,
That's an awesome price.
It's a great price. It's the lowest price that we know of here in the Buffalo area.
I'm going to tell you right now.
So there is cost savings if you buy it by the case, which is 10 reams per case, and the price for that is $41.77.
Okay.
The price for a case, you save 20% versus the price of a ream.
That's awesome.
Now, there's one other thing I want to tell you about paper, is that paper is an important component to keep your printing machine reliable and working properly. So your printer uses the texture of the paper to pick up the paper to feed it through the machine. And your printer is a high precision piece of equipment. And the paper is designed to be a particular, not only texture, but also a particular width. And the standard is 20-pound paper. Well, foreign-made papers, they cut back on those quality standards sometimes significantly, where the paper thickness is smaller and the texture is more of a smooth sheen. And this leads to paper jams. Paper jams damage your printer. They damage it when it goes in and it gets jammed up in there really hard, and then the other part where your printer gets damaged is when you pull the paper out.
You have to use the gear, right?
And you have to use excessive force pulling it against the gears, kind of a thing, and against the motor. So it's really important to use proper made papers. The best paper made in the entire world is actually made in the United States, and that's all we sell here at Rapid Refill. This is called a 20-pound 92 bright paper. We sell Hammermill, we sell Quill brand, Boise, a lot of different brands. We sell generic brands. These are all made in the United States. They all cost the same price. They all have the same quality, but they work exceptionally well in your machine. And like I said, they're the least expensive here in the Buffalo area. Now, we also sell a little bit higher quality grade paper. This is a premium laser print paper. It's a heavier duty paper, 28 pounds, 98 bright. This paper costs a little bit more, but again, great value, great for using for resumes and those types of things. We buy hammer mill when we can at the best price we can, and we sell it all for $4.99 per ream or $41.77 per case. So if you have specific paper needs, let us know, and we'll do our best to get you the best price and to get you what you need going forward.
Boom.